Howdy all Muglax Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright, we'll see if I can do this. As you can tell, I got a bit of a cold. Um, it came out pretty sudden yesterday. I actually lost my voice last night. Uh, Not that it's really all the way back. Apparently, this is the first time I've talked today. Uh, it's like 5:30 in the afternoon. First time I've opened my mouth to speak. So, I'm going to try to do this. I do have a cough drop in my mouth, so we'll see if that helps. It might not, though. Maybe a little bit. I'd like to, I think, put a hole in this roof here somewhere. I was trying to figure out where. I like to be able to go outside and look around. I also like to build gardens up on the top areas, so I thought I might go ahead and get a peek out here for that. Oh yeah, that's gonna have to come out there too. You're not the right shape. Yeah, there we go. Nice little window out onto the world. All right. I talked about how I was gonna bring back that cooking grill because I didn't have one. I don't even have a cooking pot, which is crazy. I need to go get a cooking pot. That's insane that I don't have one. I must have not grabbed it when I was moving camps, and I've been grinding all the other ones down. So, all right. So we look at the map here. Uh, I haven't looted here too much. I have looted these. So maybe we'll go down this way and take a left and see what we can see. I haven't been there yet, so I it's been a while since I've been on the Navigating map. It'll be fun to see what we can see, I guess. Well, it looks like there's a whole pile of stuff straight ahead here, but I am gonna take a left. Yeah, oh man, cracker books, nice. I'm sure I am still in need of some recipes. Cause hey, how long is it gonna be before you put down? Give me that bedroll, man. I need that bedroll. I think the search is back here too. Yeah, so we played our game 7 days. This is 7 days that I. We played our game of D&D last night for my Wednesday. It's not a good window. Wednesday campaign, and it went all right. The DM did make some unexpected choices. Um, but he didn't get too crazy. Although, I feel like in our play by post, he also posted yesterday after about a week of not posting, and even though we rolled really good, we still got ambushed by things, because that's what he does. You can't see him until they ambush you. Doesn't matter how good you roll. But yeah, we finished Princes of the Apocalypse last night, which is the campaign we were running. And Final Fight was easier than I was expecting it to be. And so I did. We did. Uh, oops, I do that every time. I did find it weird that he changed the ending. He told us a while ago that he had something already planned out and ready to go when we finished the campaign to continue the campaign for a couple of weeks. And so we finished the campaign last night and he lied. He didn't have anything ready to go. All he did was added 2 extra NPCs who could potentially lead us to a new quest. And then told us that he didn't have anything ready to go. And it'd be at least a couple of weeks before he would have a chance to work on that. And I'm like, okay. Because you've been saying for weeks that you're so excited for what comes when we finished and that you're all ready to go, and now we're there and ready to go, and then you're like, oh, I don't actually have any of that done. Oh, crap. I'm dead. She got me stunned. I couldn't move. I didn't want to back up in those other zombies. I was going to try and go around her, but my guy was moving like 2 inches an hour. But, yeah, I just, as much as he's been saying he had something special planned, he had a surprise, we were going to be so excited about what he's doing, and then we get there and he's like, yeah, it'll be at least a couple of weeks before I can have any of that stuff even done. But you know what? I'm thinking of just moving on to something different. Then why have you been telling us you were going to do something for weeks? You're so full of it all the time. Man, she busted up the... Okay, let's try this again. Ooh, I wasn't expecting that to happen. I thought I would wake her up and she'd come get me. Can't tell. She's down for the count. I thought I saw another zombie in here somewhere. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know where the other zombie went to. There was another zombie laying on the ground. I was trying not to get to. Right down here, right? It must have been the one that moved over there. But yeah, we get to the end of the whole thing, and the way it ends, and this is ridiculous right here. The way it ends is it's not ridiculous how it ends. Okay, it's not. I didn't have a problem with the adventure. I had a problem with the DM. And so way back in our first campaign with him, we played the Lost Mines of Phandelver. And so in the Lost Mines of Phandelver, at the end of it, he had us attacked by assassins. because he wanted to throw in something extra at the end. When we killed the assassins, he had given them homebrewed poison, and so I asked if they had any poison on them because they were assassins, and he said sure. And he's like, this is the poison they were using, but we had succeeded on our constitution checks while they were fighting us, and we were level 5, and he gave them 7d6 poison. So, that's pretty high damage. Because I think a regular poison is just like an extra d6 or something. I forget exactly what they are. But 7d6 at level 5 is what he was trying to use against us because, and I quote him, I can never kill you guys. And so, so I had saved the poison because 7d6 is a lot. And it's something that I feel like you would keep until, hey, there we go, until you really needed it. And so we had never really needed it. And so we get into, we face off against a dragon, which wasn't supposed to be a thing. But he changed the campaign because he wanted us to fight both the boss of that particular dungeon and a dragon on top of it all at the same time. But our sorcerer pulled some neat tricks, and we easily dispatched the dragon. That was the first time I used the poison, and so he knew I had this poison. And he's like, you can always use that poison. I'm like, no, I'm saving it for when we get into like the final fight or something. And so I didn't think anything of it because, 76 could be 7 damage. It's more likely going to be about 20 damage. And that's not really a lot for a final fight, necessarily. It's a nice addition, but it's not anything exciting. At level 5, 20 damage is like 2/3 of your health. So it's a big deal at that level. But at level 14, I think, or 13 when we finished, my guy's got 120 hit points. So 20 points isn't that big of a deal. So when we're getting up to the final fight involves summoning one of the princes of the apocalypse. And so there's one for each, major element. So there's, earth, air, fire, water. And the players are supposed to be able to choose what order they do them in because there's not a specific order. It's not a necessarily linear quest. And so for one of the things that he had done, which is not in the book, is he locked off sections of the game from us so that we couldn't go to them until he decided he wanted us to go there. And so, like, nowhere in the book could I find where it said every dungeon was sealed with a door that required you to kill the leader who was above ground of all 4 cults. Because there was an earth cult, air cult, fire cult, water cult. And so, we got to the point where we were at the end of the game and there were just the four cults, like their major bases left underground. And so we had to choose, do we want to go after fire, earth, air, or water? And so he's like, well, I'm going to tell you right now that I don't have earth and water prepared. So you really need to choose between... And he says this, but he doesn't actually prepare anything. It's a pre-made game. He has pre-made maps and stuff like that. And so he didn't make any of it. He didn't make any of it. It's all there. He just has to put it on the screen. There's no preparation, but he always says that. I didn't have time to prepare. He doesn't even read what we're doing ahead of actually playing the game, and we have to sit there while he reads through things. So he didn't even read ahead of time what things do, and most of the time there was one thing that he would have to do, which is set up the dynamic lighting, and most of the time we didn't play with dynamic lighting. Um, there were only a couple of dungeons where we had dynamic lighting the entire time. So the only two dungeons he actually prepared something ahead of time, because we had to sit there while he loaded up the map, and then he loads up the puts the tokens in, and that's it. But the tokens are already made; they're already associated with their stats. There's not a lot that he had to do, and um, so it was ridiculous him always talking about how he had to prepare. And but so we get in there, and he tells us we can't. Oh, is my inventory full? Um, he tells us that we can't do earth or water, and then yeah, I just want to make sure I don't drop like an engine or something I might need later. Headlight might be useful. And so, okay. Alright, well, I'm going to run back to my base here because I did pick up a thing for my fire. So, we do earth and air, and then the last two are water or earth. Or we do, fire and air. And so the last two would be water or earth. And he's like, I tell you guys right now, you can't do earth. You got to do water. I don't have earth prepared. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we'll do water because it doesn't matter what order we do them in. So we go and do water. And so then we start in on the earth. And it was actually a pretty easy dungeon. We kind of wanted to do fire first because I felt that fire creatures were the most dangerous. Um, Fireball is like one of the few AoE type spells where they can get all of us, and they do a lot of damage and stuff like that. And so I wanted to get fire out of the way if we could because it's hard. Everything hurts you when you hit it, and some of the guys explode and cause fire damage around them and stuff like that. And so I wanted to get all that out of the way, and so I did want to do fire first, and then but then after that we didn't get a choice. We were told which ones we had to do in what order, and I didn't think nothing of it. Like whatever, okay. I don't know why it makes a difference, but whatever. I kind of like to keep that with me, I guess. And so we get into this dungeon and we're going along, and I didn't realize it, but he wanted us to do Earth last because the bosses in the game are different levels, and I didn't know this. But they're different levels, and so um, the Earth boss is the highest level bad guy in the game in that particular adventure. Uh, I think the water and air were like level, or the air was level 18, so he was the weakest, and then the fire and water bosses were level 19, I think. And he planned this out. Like, this is one thing that he did plan out, was he took a look at their stats. He didn't read over how their abilities work for sure, but he did take a look at their stats and know that the Earth boss was level 20, and everybody else was lower level than that. And we were only level 13 going into this fight. And uh, so we planned that, and then when we got to the final fight, oops, this is not where I was going. When we got to the final fight, it turned out all the Earth creatures are immune to poison. I didn't know that. And so that's why he chose Earth to be our final dungeon, because they're immune to poison. And so if he had to summon one of the gods that we fought, the princes of the apocalypse, then he wanted the one that was immune to the poison that he gave me. So I basically wasted one of the vials of poison because only like one thing in there could be damaged by it. It was ridiculous. I didn't realize it until after we were in the fight, and he's trying to figure out how the ability works on the bad guy, and I looked him up to see what he was trying to do, and I'm like, oh, I see, I get it now. This guy is the highest level bad guy in the book, and he's immune to my poison. So, yeah, and then we're fighting him. He's got there's a portal, and the high priest is trying to summon the Prince of Apocalypse through the portal. And so obviously you get to the last one, they're going to succeed. I expected that to happen. I didn't think we'd be able to stop him. And so he summons the dude, and every time before, and I don't know how it's supposed to work because I didn't read through the adventure like that, but every time before, we had killed the priest while he was, opening the portal, and the portal would close. Well, this time the portal was wide open, and the Ogre Mock, I think was his name, came through. And so we killed the priest. Portal's still open. And I'm like, oh man, did we ever learn how to close the portal? Because I don't remember ever learning how to close the portals. Because they always just closed before. And so he says, oh yeah, you guys know that if you throw the priest's magic weapon through, that it'll close the portal. So like, okay, dude who's closest to the portal, please throw the, on our team, throw the, I think it was a mining pick or something was his weapon, because he's Earth. And so he goes to throw the hair or the pick through, and he gets charmed by something, which is not part of the campaign. So a bug just crawled on me. So we have no idea why he's charmed, and so then the bad guy, he grabs the dude with the weapon and throws him across the room, so we can't close the portal. And so I'm like, okay, well, fine, we'll do this another way. And so we go and I have the banishment spell, which sends creatures from other dimensions back to their dimension. Our sorcerer also has the banishment spell, and so the dude's got legendary reaction or legendary resistance, which means he can choose to succeed anytime he wants on damage. And so I had cast a spell earlier called Firestorm, which he said I could hit the bad guy twice with because of how large he was. I feel like it should hit him every time it touches him, but he said that that wouldn't work on most bad guys, but he allowed it for this particular one. But he used one of his legendary reactions to stop it from doing its full damage. It was only like 42 damage. It wasn't a big deal. The dude had like 600 hit points, so um, and which is a lot when we only have like 100 or less each. And so we go and I guess that he uses his legendary resistance. I think he's only got 3 of them. I cast banishment on him. He uses his legendary resistance. The sorcerer casts banishment on him. He uses his legendary resistance. I cast banishment on him again the next turn, and it succeeds. And so he goes bye bye. And so then we get the pick, and we're gonna throw it through. And I'm like, oh, we should throw it through all our evil weapons. And he's like, I think my guy's just gonna keep his weapon. I'm like, you told me they were cursed, and I feel like since we're the good guys, yeah, we've been using them, but now that we have a chance to get rid of them, we should throw them all through, and then no one will be able to open those portals again. He's like, well, maybe you can find a way to fix them, like some kind of remove curse. I'm like, oh, well, I've got remove curse. I cast remove curse on the weapons. He's like, well, nothing happens because it takes something really powerful. And so I'm a cleric, so I've got this thing called divine intervention. I'm like, oh, let me try divine intervention, and I succeeded. I rolled a 2 on 100 on a percentile, which is 1 to 100. I rolled a 2. You have to roll below your level. And he's like, well, what are you doing that for? I'm like, I want to ask my deity to cleanse the curse from the weapons. He's a war god, so I feel like he would appreciate, our nice, keep being able to keep our nice weapons. And so I thought that was pretty cool that I actually got that to succeed. I tried it once before in the campaign, and I rolled like a 70 something. So not to cleanse the weapons, to do something else. I don't remember what the other thing was. But yeah, then he's like, oh, and your god also tells you that there's 2. Oh wow, I just shot right to the side of her head twice there. There's 2 more innocents in this dungeon you must rescue. And so we go and we find them, and they're the surprise that he's been telling us we were going to run into this entire time. The extra thing he's got for us to do, one more mission when this campaign is over, something super fun that he's got all planned out. And what he had planned out was 2 NPCs who were standing around doing nothing. And I quote, are a way for you to use up some of the treasure that you acquired in this campaign, helping them rebuild their ship so that you can go into space. But I don't have that prepared yet, and it'll be a couple of weeks. So, yeah. Alright, well, I think this is where I'm going to call it for today. And I guess I mostly made it through being able to talk a little bit anyways. I hope it wasn't too terrible to listen to. Click like if you like, subscribe, and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.